Hey, one and all, what is going on? Kilimal Tengan taking a moment after just completing a first round of an intuitive investigation. So this will probably be an ongoing series, Quantum Wizardry After Dark, or something like that. In any case, I thought I would just pop on real quick and just talk a little bit about this whole process, which I call intuitive investigations, and how this works for me. So I do this thing called intuitive investigations. And so that is where something comes up. I may be approached by someone to find out something, whether that be about a potential haunting at a house, a source for a disease, um, some misfortune that may be falling upon a person or a family. In any case, when this happens, when I'm called into action, if you will, then I garb up in my wizard's attire and I go to work. It's interesting because it kind of varies on what it is that I'll be looking at or what it is that I am doing. However, what it usually entails is me going into what I identify, at least, as wizard mode. And I attempting to find a better angle here. Um, and I'll go into wizard mode. I'll go into a trance, what I call a trance state, and then I perceive, and that can happen in a number of different ways. However, I'll go into an altered state of consciousness, and I will drop into whatever it is that I am looking at, and I will see what I can find out. Often there are different ways that comes in. It can come in terms of imagery. It can come in terms of sounds. It can come in terms of all different types of ways. And so what I'll do is I will look at what I can see, what it is that I perceive, and then I will go from there. What I typically do is that's sort of stage one, unadulterated, unfiltered, intuitive perception. Now, as an energetic, that can come in, again, any type of ways. Psychics will typically see things, will be able to look at something. Empaths may be able to tap into a sensation or perhaps even a person. Kinesthetics, muscle testing is a great way for that to happen for them as energetic kinesthetic. It is sort of a mix of a number of different things. And so I just came out of a session a little while ago. I'll go through that as my first level of perception. And then I will go into my second, which is usually a card reading. As an energetic, I can get broad strokes. If you think about painting, like the brush is very large. And so I can get broad strokes of information and sensations. And I can hone in on that and focus. However, I'm able to get specifics when I actually tap into things with the cards. So the cards are great because then I can get more, not just unique, also very detailed information. And so I'll secondly go into the cards. And then I'll tend to, if I still feel the need to go a little further with my own intuitive abilities, then I will go into some muscle testing or pendulum work. And so when that happens, then that's the intuitive side of it. And so I'll gather as much information as I can through different levels of perception. And then afterwards, I will go in further with the cards. And then I will sometimes go in even a little further with muscle testing. I like to have this sort of 3 levels of perception. 3 levels of perception gives me a lot of information that I can then sift through. However, I'm all about coherence, so it's both sides. And so what I'll do next is then I'll go in from the place of intelligence. Say, for example, I were investigating establishing a grid of protection for somebody at their house. Then I may look at crime rates in that area. and see if any patterns emerge. I may look at history. We got a couple of great books on the history of Maui, for example. So if I were looking to set up a grid on Maui, then I'd go into the historical relevancy of what has happened in that area. And in all of that, then I really am looking at seeing how, if at all, my purely intuitive experience ties into that which I can discern with my intellect. Often they actually match up pretty well. And so it's interesting to see how all of these things can transpire and come together. On some investigations, I mean, I'll actually go to the location itself. I had done an investigation in San Francisco a number of years back, 2019. And so I stayed there at the hotel itself and experienced the deep haunting and presence of the being and beings that were trapped there. Yet that required me to be on site. Similarly, I've got ways that I leverage my intuition and others that I work with my intelligence. And so with all these things being said, I'm going to be doing more of these investigations, and this is kind of my garb. I dress for the occasion. And so this was my wizard's wear. So I figured I'd just introduce this whole concept of intuitive investigations, because this will probably be an ongoing series. Revisiting my podcast, I'm going to be starting up with some past cases that I've had and sharing that with you as well. For now, though, that's it. Love and aloha. Take care, and hui ho.